Imp Midna is Imp Mid Imp Midna is unironically 40 pounds of pussy and ass. She's just floating drumsticks with a smug single-fang grin. That's not even artists exaggerating it. Her body mass is actually 80% in her cheeks, thighs, and pot belly. She's not a pear. She's a light bulb. They had to know exactly what the fuck they were doing. I refuse to believe otherwise. People being creepy fuckers and sexualizing the Inklings and the bird girl from Wind Waker and all that shit. Sure, that's on the fan. But Midna being a 40-pound pussy that grinds on top of Link's head and bosses him around is 100% on Nintendo. Her imp form was actually more sexualized than her true form, which is astonishing since her true form is literally a completely naked woman in harem silks with black body paint covering over her bits. There's no fucking way Midna was an accident. This shit was 100% intentional. Porn artists aren't exaggerating when they make her ass the size of the fucking sun. I mean, look at her. 80% of her body mass is in her ass and thighs, and she's properly built to smother your face and tease you about it. A pair of sexy floating drumsticks that moans every time you press a button doesn't just accidentally appear in a mainline Zelda title. They had to know exactly what the fuck they were doing.
When Lennon himself met the woman that would change his outlook on music forever. She was outrageous, shiny, experimental, foreign.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. This should be the final Zero Escape stream. Yeah. So without further ado, let's get right into that, shall we? Last time we got the coffin and Yellow Submarine ending. This time, hope we'll be able to finish the actual game. Okay, I don't know what we need to do here, but should be able to figure it out.
I thought, but
We should talk.
Oh my, talking! We've only got...
You're...
very well. Sure enough.
Well, it's... Well, thanks.
Correct.
But who's going to...
Oh yeah, all 8 of them.
Then it would.
Wait. I'm telling you...
Come on now.
Call me if I'm...
Sorry.
Oh,
Hey man, if you think...
The number
What the
9
hell?
dude dead.
Yeah, doesn't mean...
oh
I don't know
God.
if he died at this point.
Fine, I'll go. I can't get anyone. I'll go.
Maybe.
What?
Don't worry. We may part now.
How do you...
Because
That's not an... If you're...
What am I?
There's nothing. If I said, and if you
7, the digital...
Oh, the 4 of...
Wait. What about the other?
Lotus, outbreak 8, 2, it'd be 2. That means there's no way we can pass through. Wait, hold on, something's off. 8 plus 3 plus the digital root of 20.
It's 4. Add up our 4 bracelet...
Then we can go in...
Yeah.
So the 7, Lotus. Are these beyond? Of course, if I went through door 5, I wouldn't be going with Lotus and Santa.
What is the skip button? What?
I thought we were finished with that topic, but
We should...
Oh my god.
There was a skip button. I fucking remember it.
Talking won't solve anything. We've only...
You're...
very well then.
Sure.
Well, it's stupid to just sit around here doing nothing.
Oh, wait. There we go.
The digital root of 14.
It's control. Okay. Okay, the 9 guy's already fucking dead. I'm feeling it. Yeah. Go way out. Mhm. Can I get this yet, or do I need something like else? We have all the white key stuff. We need the fucking red keys.
I thought we were...
With 5?
5. It'd be 5. That means there's no way we can pass through door 4. Wait. Hold on a second. Something's off. 8 plus 3 plus 6 plus
I guess
5
we can't
is
skip
22.
dialogue we haven't seen.
So,
That's good. It's been a while since we've been in this room. There's nothing in here for us. Oh. Okay. I guess I got it. I don't know what I did, but alright.
I think I'm gonna go with door 7.
Okay, 7 it is.
Yeah.
All right then. That means June's got to go through 8.
What? Why?
What?
Probably seeing all the options here, but I guess not. Santa grimaced and muttered angrily to himself, but finally began to
If the
explain.
6 of us are going to keep going without leaving anyone behind, there are only 3 ways we can do it. Have 3, 5, and 8 go through 7, and 4, 6, and 7 go through 8.
Plan
4,
B.
5, and 7 go through 7, and 3, 6, and 8 go through 8.
Plan C.
Or 3, 6, and 7 go through 7, and 4, 5, and 8 get 8. There are no other combinations. In other words, 3 and 4 and 7 and 8 can never go through the same doors. You get it now?
Santa finished. June looked over at Junpei, tears welling up at the corners of her eyes.
Oh no. You're saying we aren't gonna see each other again for a long time.
Junpei felt just as June did, wanted to be at his side for whatever trials they were preparing to face. But he knew if they were to survive, he had to swallow his feelings. For the six of them to move forward, he and June had to be separated. He looked at June, he was scared to lose her, but he swallowed, stilled his resolve, and did his best to smile.
Hey, come on. You're making it sound like we're never gonna see each other again. We gotta split up, but only for a while. This is just like when we went into the 4 and 5 doors, remember? We got split up then too, but we all met back up. I'll bet 7 and 8 are just like that.
You mean they're connected somewhere?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Didn't sound very hopeful. The 7 they had rejected.
I'm sure they're gonna connect somewhere.
Why? What makes you think so?
If they don't, then neither team can get through door 9. In other words, the game would end right here. Zero's been on top of his shit so far. I don't think he'd blow it now. I'm damn sure that son of a bitch wants to have his fun as long as possible. He's not gonna end this game until we get through the 9 door.
He said nothing. The tears were gone, but her eyes were still sad as they looked at Junpei. He met them, and with what reassurance he could manage, laid his hand gently on her shoulder.
Everything's gonna be fine. We're gonna see each other again. I promise.
June bit her lip and gave him an almost imperceptible nod.
Yes. Promise?
His voice was barely above a whisper. Santa's voice shattered the moment.
You guys are done, right?
He stretched and continued.
Anyway, that's pretty much it. Clover and I will both go into separate groups. I figure I'll take 8 and Clover can take 7. Any problems with that, Clover?
Clover looked away and silent for a moment.
Whatever.
More of a dismissal than an agreement, but Santa didn't seem to care.
All right, we're ready to go then. Let's move.
Santa commands, the group split and headed for their respective doors. Clover 7 and Junpei walked towards door 7. Santa, Lotus, and June headed for door 8. For a long moment, they stood in front of the door. Santa took a deep breath.
You guys ready?
No, that was not it. Seemingly. we have to go for the 8th door?
It's open.
Okay.
The-
Hurry!
Have we not seen this? I think we have. Okay. Computer. We push the button on front of the mirror.
Oh, that worked.
The soft hum, it turned on. Streams of letters that made no sense to Junpei began to scroll across the screen. He'd hoped it would turn on, but he hadn't expected this.
Huh? It's running on its own?
It certainly looks like it.
Isn't that kinda weird?
What?
Well, it's not connected to the main computer, right? There's just this keyboard and monitor. The only cable connected to this thing is the power cable we just plugged in. So, why is it working?
Maybe it's a wireless display.
Clearly, this was a reasonable explanation on Lotus.
A wireless display?
Yes, it connects to your computer wirelessly. Hence the name. Have you been living in a cave, Junpei?
I certainly had not, but...
Is that normal?
Yes, at least where I worked.
Oh.
Oh, it stopped.
Pass with a colon.
Looks like we need to enter a password.
Again? There must be a hint around here somewhere.
Could you go take a look?
Yeah, I'm on it. What are you going to do?
I'll see if I can do something about this on my own.
On your own?
Yep, on my own.
Lotus?
Lotus pulled over the nearest chair and dropped herself down onto it in front of the keyboard. For a second, she stared at the screen. She netted her hands, knuckles popping, twisted her back left, then right.
All right. Let's kick some ass.
Lotus smiled to herself and rubbed her hands together in anticipation. Have we seen this before? Then, before Junpei had time to blink, she was stepping at an incredible speed, the click-clack of the keys running together like machine gun fire.
Wait, what?
Junpei was, for once, at a loss for words.
Didn't expect that, did you?
Hello? Oh, there we go.
Of course I didn't! You're typing so fast, I can't even see your fingers. What kind of job do you have? What are you?
I'm unemployed at the moment. I used to work for a cybersecurity firm, but I quit.
Why?
Huh? Oh, it was just something.
Stop typing for a moment, and her face fell.
I see.
It's just not an avenue of questioning to be pursued. They realized, quickly shut its mouth. Lotus's fingers began to move again. In a few seconds, she was back up to speed. As she typed, more letters and symbols that meant nothing to Junpei began to pour across the screen.
Oh, what are you doing now?
I'm going to try and brute force it.
Brute what?
A brute force attack is... Well, the short version is that I just attack the thing head on. The long version?
Without looking up or slowing down, she began to explain.
A brute force attack is one of the simplest ways to break a cipher. It checks every possible combination until it finds the right one. For a complex cipher, it can take a very long time. I'm writing a program that would run an attack like that on its own. It's not the most elegant solution, certainly, but given the circumstances, there isn't much else I can do.
Even as she talked, her fingers never flowed or missed a key. Junpei couldn't help but feel a little odd.
No, but back to what we were talking about earlier.
What were we talking about?
The wireless display? It's kind of strange if you think about it, isn't it? How do I put it? Well, let's say you write a program that calculates an addition problem for you, all right? So you enter 1 plus 1. The screen will show you 2. See? Isn't that strange?
No. Not really.
Oh, come on now. Of course a caveman like you would think it was strange. You said so just a minute ago. You're just not getting it, are you? Who calculated 1 plus 1?
The main computer, right? You said it connected to the monitor wirelessly.
Yeah, but someone who grew up in a cave wouldn't know that, right? They'd probably think that this thing here, the monitor, is doing the calculating. And once they've decided that, they'll start examining this monitor. They might poke the screen or something. Ah, I see the color changes when I press it here. Then they might investigate the hardware on the inside. Oh, I see. So this wire supplies the power. Eventually, they might even cut the wires. Ah, yes. Just as I expected. When this wire is cut, no results appear. Therefore, it must be this device which does the calculations.
Oh.
But the truth is that, just like you said, the computer is doing the calculating. But these cave people wouldn't know that, because they have no idea that the monitor and the computer are connected wirelessly.
So, what are you trying to say?
Nothing, really. It's just, I thought maybe, what if the relationship between human beings and our brains is like that?
Huh?
Well, let's say you stick a bunch of electrodes into parts of the brain. A scientist examining the signals they send out might say, interesting. So stimulating this part of the brain causes the person to see colors. That must mean this neuron cluster controls that function. Okay, let's see what happens when I cut out this part. Ah, just what I thought. Cutting off this part causes that function to cease. Therefore, human thought processes must occur in the human brain. See? Doesn't it sound the same? Maybe the brain is just an output device. Like this monitor. Maybe our thought processes actually occur somewhere else. In a main body. We just don't know it. We never even think about it. Just like those cave people wouldn't know about wireless communications, we can't imagine that there's some unknown medium that transfers information into our brains, where we experience that information as thoughts.
The brain is just an output device.
Yeah, that's what I read.
Human thought actually occurs somewhere else.
That's just crazy talk.
Did Lotus really think that? He wondered. It was a little creepy, Junpei thought. Sounded altogether too much like a bizarre cultish religion.
Maybe that's the cause of Seven's amnesia.
Oblivious to Junpei's increasing discomfort, Lotus
If
continued.
memory is actually stored somewhere else, in some sort of main body somewhere, maybe he hasn't forgotten anything at all. He's just having a difficult time accessing his memories because the monitor, his brain, has been damaged.
Huh.
I suppose that would explain aphasia and blindsight, too. Perhaps they actually can speak or see. The monitor just isn't functioning properly. I guess people with prosopagnosia could be suffering from the same thing.
Wait a minute. What?
He knew what he knew what aphasia was from watching medical dramas on TV. And blindsight was easy enough to guess, but he'd never heard the word prosopagnosia, whatever, before.
What? You've never heard of prosopagnosia?
Agnosia. Lotus spun around in her chair to look at him. Junpei just shrugged and shook his head.
What is it?
Well, put simply, it means a condition where the mind can't distinguish between human faces. In other words, my face would look the same as Clover's or even yours, so they can't remember faces, which is how most people recognize each other. That means that people with prosopagnosia have trouble recognizing even people they're close to. Usually they can make do by associating people with other things. Their voices, their clothes, their hair.
Does that mean other people's faces look like blanks?
No, I don't think so. Well, you've seen monkeys, like in a zoo, right? To you and me, all the monkey faces look the same, even though they've obviously got faces. It's almost impossible for a human to distinguish between them. The zoo staff that works with them would learn to identify different monkeys eventually. But you or I couldn't, unless one had a scar or something else to set it apart. Well, that's how people would be to someone with prosopagnosia.
Prosopagnosia. Huh. I didn't even know that kind of thing existed. And, what were we talking about?
The idea that your brain is just an output device, like a monitor.
Are you serious about that stuff?
Not really. I was just kidding for about half of it.
What about the other half?
Well, I guess I was just adulting.
Not funny.
Funny. Didn't laugh.
It's nothing more than a story I made up out of boredom. Don't take it seriously. It was the first thing that came to mind, and I just talked about it to kill time. But looks like I don't need to talk anymore.
Why?
I don't have to kill time any longer.
He spoke. Lotus raised her right arm high, brought it down on the enter key.
Oh, then you finished that brute whatever thing?
I certainly did. And let's see what we got.
Chunks of text flickered on and off in quick succession, and then a line of numbers appeared, blinked, and disappeared. The screen cleared, and all that was left was the word accepted.
Piece of cake.
Lotus would clearly have patted herself on the back if it would not have made her look entirely ridiculous. After a few seconds, the accepted disappeared to be replaced with 9 squares arranged in a 3x3
The screen
square.
changed again. What the hell is that?
No idea. Looks like a puzzle.
Suddenly, Lotus stood up.
Huh? Aren't you gonna, I don't know, do more computer stuff?
No, I can't do anymore. It won't let me do any more programming. See? The keyboard. Nothing. So, there's nothing more I can do. Well, I guess I'll leave this to you then, Junpei.
What?
Let me take a break, all right? I did my part.
Well...
Wasn't sure what to say to that. She certainly had done her part. In fact, without Lotus, they probably would have run completely around. I shouldn't rely on other people so much, Junpei thought to himself.
I guess you're right. Thanks, Lotus.
No problem. And make sure you know when you should thank people.
Now, I better take care of this myself. No more relying on anyone else.
He crossed his arms and stared at the puzzle shown on the screen. I think we've already done that. Just that moment that he heard a voice behind him. Clover.
Hey, Junpei, do you have a minute?
He put the puzzle aside for the moment and walked over to Clover.
What's up?
I wanted to ask you something. Junpei, you went into door 5 with my brother, right? Did you hear him say, like, anything weird?
Huh?
Why's she asking me this? Junpei wondered. The more he thought about it, however, the more it made sense. Nick had been gone for a long time. Clover was quite attached to her brother. Of course she would have been worried about him.
Well, let me think.
He thought back to when he'd gone through door 5, hoping he might remember something, even a small something that would help her. However...
Sorry, Clover. I can't really think of anything. I mean, he did mention that his hearing exceeds that of a regular person, or something like that, but that's about it.
Okay.
Clover's words were barely audible. He nodded vaguely to Junpei, turned to walk away.
Hey, wait a minute.
Hmm?
Look, I don't know if I should ask you things, but if you don't mind, I was hoping you could tell me if, is Snake, was he born?
You're talking about his eyes?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't born blind. When he was a kid, he got in an accident. A really bad car accident. He couldn't see after that. And his arm.
His arm?
Yeah. My brother's left arm is, it's not like a normal person's arm.
Mentioned this before.
It's fake. It's not a real arm. The accident hurt him really bad. To save him, They had to cut off his arm.
Oh.
Is that all you wanted to ask me?
So yeah, wasn't confirmed already. Sure, Snaky Boy's alive, probably in that coffin.
Look, I'm sorry for making you talk about all that painful stuff.
It's not that.
It? Okay. Boy.
I believe the box has reached the floor.
Yeah. June's down over by there.
She doesn't seem to be improving.
Well, of course not. She's not gonna just get better right away, you know? It'll take time.
What could be causing this, I wonder? Illness, perhaps?
Nah, it's gotta be exhaustion. She gets dropped into some weird-ass ship, forced to play some messed-up game. If you think about it, it's a lot weirder that we aren't freaking out just like her, you know?
So you're saying we're abnormal?
Yeah. We're just running around this room, solving all these puzzles like it's just business as usual. How the hell could you call that normal? We're just guinea pigs.
They just snorted in disgust.
A guinea pig? You mean like a lab rat? You mean we're being used for some sort of experiment? Is that what you're saying?
Dunno. But it does seem like a possibility, you know?
We stood there for a few more moments, no one speaking. Santa turned and walked away from the winch. Junpei and Ace followed him.
You know, speaking of experiments, there was this experiment some scientists did with rats. First, they took a squarish C-shaped tank and filled it with enough water that the rats could drown in it. The tank has 2 exits. Just to make it easy, we'll call one A and the other B. Exit A is pitch black, so dark even a rat can't see anything. But exit B is electrified, which means the rat can't leave through it. So, what would a rat do if it was put in this situation? Which exit would the rat choose?
There was a moment of silence after Santa posed the question, and then Ace responded.
B, of course. The rat has no way of knowing that exit B is electrified.
Exactly. The rat goes to exit B. Of course, like I said, it's electrified, which means the rat can't get out that way. So, after a lot of trial and error, the rat finally finds exit A.
I can't say that's very interesting or relevant. It's simply the story of a laboratory experiment.
You're right. It isn't very interesting. Yet. See, these scientists repeated this experiment over and over.
Hold on, I'll be right back. We're back. Oh, what the hell did I just open?
Using hundreds of different rats over several generations. This produced some surprising results. With each generation, the rats took less time to find the correct exit. Eventually, a rat was put in the tank who instantly chose exit A without even attempting to go to exit B. But that wasn't the most impressive part. The same experiment was conducted in another laboratory, far from the original one, with the same results. No, on second thought, the results weren't really the same. The rats in this second experiment began the trials with significantly faster times than the first rats in the initial one.
I see what this is all about.
These rats weren't related to the others and had never even come in contact with them. And yet, they all easily found their way to exit A as though they already knew. What did it mean?
Are you suggesting something like telepathy? They were passing information to one another through some undetectable medium?
Ace looked skeptical. Santa snorted at him.
How the hell would I know? I'm not any kind of scientist. I don't know what made him do that. But I do know that story's true. And if you've got another explanation, I'd sure love to hear it. Come on, let's get going. There's still a lot here we haven't checked out. And we gotta get the hell out of here before June passes out.
While waiting for a response, he turned around and started walking. Junpei, however, wasn't quite ready to leave the
Hey,
topic
wait.
alone.
There's something I want to ask you.
What?
And just stopped and turned around.
Why did they use that tank for the experiment?
Huh?
Well, I mean, it seems like you could conduct the same experiment without the water. They could have just used a dry box, you know? If they needed to motivate the rats to escape, they could have, I don't know, put some bait by exit B or something. I mean, do they really have to make it so the rats can drown?
They gave a grim bark of a laugh.
You know, the word emergency comes from the same root as the word emerge. You ever think about that?
Huh?
Well, an emergency is something urgent, often something dangerous. And to emerge means to sort of come out, or appear, or rise out of something else. So what's going to emerge in an emergency? Inspiration.
Inspiration?
Yeah. Think about it. When the chips are down, either you crack or your mind focuses and pulls up what you need.
So in an emergency, your real potential emerges. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's why the rats had to drown. They had to be in danger. There had to be an emergency for inspiration to emerge.
Oh.
Right? For this next one. Be about the coffin.
Whatever.
Okay.
A small.
Gun.
Yeah.
It looks...
I wonder.
This thing? Are these real? Oh.
You're not gonna take it?
You know. I think I made a mistake. Hold on. Yeah.
Now we finally have all 9 picture cards. We just need to insert these cards into the slots at the front of each box.
He stared at the cards in his hands. He stared over his shoulder at them.
You know which card goes in which box, yes?
Junpei gave him a look.
Yeah, of course I do. It's really obvious. You just match our numbers to the numbers, then you pop the corresponding card in the right box. So for instance, the card with the picture of Ace on it goes into box 1. The card with the picture of Snake on it goes into box 2, and so on.
Oh, I see.
Huh? What is it?
Junpei thought he might have imagined it, but he could have sworn Ace stiffened just then. Junpei heard a noise. He spun around just in time to see June collapse in front of the fence.
Hey! June, are you okay?
She did not respond. Junpei spun back around to face Ace.
I'm sorry, I gotta go check on her. You finish the box thing, alright? Just put the cards in the boxes. I'm counting on you.
He shoved the cards into Ace's hands and ran off toward June.
Are you alright? What happened?
Junpei called out to her as he ran.
Can you stand?
As he arrived, June was climbing to her feet with Santa's help.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm fine. I just tripped.
Don't give me that. Now is not the time.
But it's true. I tripped over a box.
Just let me see for a sec.
Junpei put his palm on her forehead.
Huh.
You're still warm.
Her temperature was much the same as it had been the last time he checked. She wasn't hot like she'd been before, but she was still warm. Her fever wasn't completely gone.
I saw her fall. I think she really did just trip on something, you know?
Junpei would have been more willing to agree if June hadn't needed quite so much help standing up.
Still, to fall down like that? I think she's probably still a little messed up.
June was doing her best to busy herself, brushing dust off her dress. Her smile looked a little embarrassed, and her face was a bit flushed, but she did look a great deal better than she had. Still,
Alright, well, let's just get out of here as fast as we can so we can get you to a hospital.
Oh, I don't think it's anything that serious. I just need a little medicine and some sleep, and I'll be fine.
Alright, whatever you say.
Medicine, huh? Well, if we could get in touch with anyone outside, I'll bet Ace could swing that for you easy.
Ace? Why?
Huh? Don't you know? He's the president of a pharmaceutical company.
No, I did not know.
Cradle Pharmaceuticals is the name, I think. Their flagship product is an anesthetic drug called Soparil.
Soparil. Soparil. I've heard of that before somewhere.
Junpei couldn't shake the feeling that he'd heard about Soparil before. Yes, it continued.
Soparil. It's an anesthetic that's a gas at room temperature. A lot like how nitrous oxide is. It takes only a few seconds to spread, and even a small amount is very effective. A bunch of countries quickly accepted it for widespread use within their police and military forces. It was an effective crowd suppressant and room clearer. It was practical, ethical, and the humane nature of it made it the ideal drug. It's been around for about 6 years. They developed it from the extracts of several different roots. It became popular almost as soon as it was made public, with many governments placing large orders. Demand for Soparil skyrocketed, and of course that meant Cradle Pharmaceuticals stock did too.
Why do you know all of this?
Hinton's information was interesting, but Junpei couldn't help but feel a little suspicious. Hinton's reply was blunt and simple.
I heard it from the old man himself.
From Ace? When?
By the number 4 door at the central stairway, when we were searching the second-class room. Remember how Snake, Seven, and you went to door 5? It was back then. I asked him what he did for a living, and he said he ran his own company. After that, we just started talking, and I guess it just came up, you know?
Huh.
Are you worried about something?
No, nothing.
Spoke. Junpei looked over toward Ace. Seem to be having difficulty with the 9 boxes.
What the hell is he doing?
Back to June and Santa.
June, don't push yourself, alright?
Yes.
Santa, could you take care of her? I'll go check on Ace. Looks like he's having trouble.
Sure.
What are you doing?
He gave them both a short nod. Ace's back was to him as Junpei approached. The older man turned to look at him. His face was pale and covered in sweat.
What happened?
Nothing. My vision has gotten rather blurry, I think, because of fatigue. I can't see very well at the moment.
Okay, so
What can't you see well?
These pictures.
Ace held the cards out to Junpei, splayed out in the shape of a fan.
I don't care to admit it, but I may be developing presbyopia. Growing old is a difficult thing.
Made the best attempt he could at a self-deprecating smile, but his face was flushed and his lips were pale and drawn.
At any rate, I'll leave the rest to you. I'm feeling awfully tired, so if you don't mind, I'd like to rest for a bit.
Shoved the cards into Junpei's hands and walked quickly away. Junpei looked at him quizzically.
How could simply looking at cards have tired him out?
Junpei looked down at the cards in his hands. These pictures were quite clear, and each person easily recognizable. Is Ace's vision truly so bad?
But if it wasn't, what had made him so uncomfortable?
That's when Junpei remembered what he heard from Lotus much earlier.
Prosopagnosia. Well, put simply, it means a condition where the mind can't distinguish between human faces. In other words, my face would look the same as Clover's or even yours, so they can't remember faces, which is how most people recognize each other. That means that people with prosopagnosia have trouble recognizing even people they're close to.
Maybe he's got prosopagnosia?
Junpei took another look at Ace. He sat at the base of the stairs, looking quite depressed.
Well, he looks depressed enough to have it.
Really did have prosopagnosia. There's no doubt it was a depressing and painful experience. Still, Junpei didn't feel like patting him on the shoulder and telling him everything would be alright would help that much. Still, Junpei felt perhaps it was best he kept Ace's condition to himself, at least for the time being.
Oh well.
Doing his best to clear his mind for the task at hand, turned back toward the boxes.
Time to solve the 9 boxes puzzle.
9 cards of pictures and 9 boxes. Junpei stared at them for a moment and then began.
Ace's card is in box 1, Snake's is in number...
We've seen all this before.
9?
We've seen all this. Alright, guess that's it for this. Elevator up to C deck. Once there, they headed back toward the main hall and central staircase. Didn't take them long.
It's Seven and Lotus.
They didn't look happy.
We've got a problem.
Clover is gone.
What?
Junpei and his 3 companions looked at one another. Turned back to Seven and Lotus.
What do you mean, gone?
Santa, Ace, and June had their own questions to ask.
Why?
You two went into door 1 with Clover, didn't you?
Seven and Lotus responded as best they could.
Yeah, we went through the door together.
But Clover barely spoke to us.
She just did her own thing the whole time.
There were 4 rooms on the other side of door 1.
She wouldn't let us into the 4th room.
She just said, I'll take care of this one.
And shut the door.
She must have blocked it with something on the other side.
We waited for a while, but Clover didn't come out.
We called for her, but she didn't answer.
So I kicked down the door and we went into the room.
But
It was empty.
Clover wasn't there.
There was a door on the other wall.
And it was open.
We figure she opened the door and left by herself.
We ran after her, of course, but
Well, obviously we didn't find her. You figured that much out.
Clover's gone.
When did this happen?
We got here just before you.
You certainly have excellent timing.
So you haven't searched anywhere other than near the staircase?
No, we haven't.
Finally, Ace spoke. His voice had an edge of resolve and concern.
Very well then. We'd best separate and look for Clover. We haven't much time left. Let's begin.
Yeah.
Quick nods all around. 6 remaining players spread out. Junpei and June ran into the large hospital room together. As quickly as they could, they searched around and under the beds and in the
She's
corners.
not here.
No, she isn't.
All right, just in case, we should go take a look in the shower room.
Shower room?
That's where her brother is. She might have gone to see him.
June bit her lip. She knew. Junpei did. He won Fane to see in the shower room, and he wasn't
Well,
pleasant.
we might as well check, right? Let's go.
With a screwdriver stuck between the door and the frame.
Good. We can still get in.
We should thank Seven later.
Junpei and June slipped through the door, moved down the hallway, and stepped into the shower room.
No luck.
Yeah, I don't think she's here.
June's voice was faint. She placed her hands over her mouth. Her face looked a little green.
The smell is horrible.
The stench in the room was almost unbearable. It had grown far more unpleasant since the last visit. If Junpei had eaten lunch, he would have had difficulty retaining it. He wanted to leave the room as soon as possible, but he had to be sure. And the only way to be sure was to check the other side of the dividers.
Let's check the back, just to be sure.
June offered no resistance, nodded weakly to Junpei as he headed around the divider. Stepped to the corner and turned his head.
No, she's not here.
As he expected, Clover was nowhere to be seen. The only thing on the other side of the divider was a dead body lying in a reddish-brown puddle of dry and drying blood.
Snake, just where did your sister go?
Junpei whispered to what once was Snake. But that probably isn't Snake. He'd asked rhetorically, of course, but there was no way he'd get an answer. He gave a deep sigh.
Such a horrible way to go. The skull shattered, the left arm's hideously twisted. Huh? Wait.
Begin. The bright white of the ulna was clearly visible through the remains of skin and muscle. Wait, wait, ulna.
Bones.
The pieces fell into place. Junpei remembered something Clover had told him in the laboratory.
My brother's left arm is, it's not like a normal person's arm. The accident hurt him really bad.
Of course. Of course. Why didn't I realize it earlier?
I told Junpei that Snake's left arm was prosthetic. The left arm of the corpse behind the divider was quite clearly a human arm, or at least it had been once. That meant corpse.
Jumpy?
Jin's unsure voice at Junpei's suddenly strange behavior drew his attention back to
Oh,
her.
sorry for making you wait. Let's go.
Junpei and June headed back towards the large hospital room. They stepped through the door and out of the shower room. Down the hallway they went, searching for Clover in every corner. They had reached the stairs when Seven appeared, breathless and yelling.
Junpei! June! Where were you guys?
He looked pale, his face was drawn. Something terrible had happened. Junpei's breath caught in his throat.
Did something happen?
And drew his shaking hand across his face and gulped down a bit of air.
Clover is dead. I found her in the first class bath.
sound ceased for Junpei. The world was an empty, muffled expanse, and he began to hear his own breathing. Jun's mouth moved, but he heard nothing. She tried once more. Her energy was gone, and she collapsed against the wall. He could have helped her, but he hadn't, and now she was dead. So he stood there, frozen in place.
Clover. Clover. Why? Why did this happen?
Forced his body to move. Each step felt like another nail pounded into his heart. Finally, he was in front of her. He knelt and placed 3 fingers against Clover's neck. No pulse. No breath. She was still warm and her eyes were closed peacefully. It was easy to think she was asleep. Easy, that is, not from the slowly expanding puddle of blood beneath her. He traced its source to her back, a gash just beneath to her shoulder blade. Had it been a knife, perhaps? If it wasn't a knife, the killer had taken it when they left. He closed his eyes. He saw Clover smile.
Clover!
Her innocent smile. Her energy. He would never see her smile again.
No way.
He could have done something. He could have helped her. Stomach twisted itself into a sickening knot.
Let's get out of here, June.
Junpei lifted a limp June from the floor and carried her from the bathroom.
Are you all right?
And he knew it.
Yes, I think so.
Fever had gone down. The emotional scars she received were not likely to recede as quickly. Junpei laid his hand on her shoulder, and they walked back to the bedroom.
You should get some rest. Here, the bed. Can you sit?
Yes.
She nodded once, stared at the floor. 4 others in the room. Ace, Lotus, Santa, and 7. They all stared at nothing, their faces drawn and tired. For a while, they drifted into the bathroom to see Clover's corpse themselves. As everyone was back in the bedroom, Junpei walked slowly to the center of it and looked around as the slumped figures gathered
Who was
there.
the first to find the body?
Me.
Someone spoke from behind Junpei. He turned around. Seven's hand was up.
Why did you come to this room?
To look for Clover. Why else? I found her body in the bathroom. As soon as I did, I ran outside. I got to the top of the stairs by the casino and yelled as loud as I could. Hey, guys! I found her, but it's bad. She's in the bathroom in the first-class cabin. Come quick! Or something like that. Then I went back to the bathroom. Ace, Santa, and Lotus showed up real soon after that. But I guess you two hadn't heard me or something because you didn't show. So I took off down the stairs to look for you. After that, I mean, you know the rest, right?
He nodded and closed his eyes. There was one more thing he needed to ask.
7. There's one more thing I'm worried about.
What?
You stuck one of those plates in between the door and the frame, right? Why did you do that?
Come on, didn't I already tell you that? I did it so that the door wouldn't lock. So we could come back to this room? Oh, you think I did it?
Well, I don't know. That kind of depends on what you say, doesn't it?
For crying out loud.
Went inside and shook his head.
Follow me.
There were 2 doors standing next to one another. He opened the one on the right.
A closet?
Yeah.
And stepped inside. Stood in front of one of the shelves that filled it. Gestured with a small box. Box with a small metal cube. He looked at Junpei.
This is the reason. This safe. We couldn't open it when we were getting through this room. I figured there might be something pretty important in it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I figured eventually we might figure out what the numbers are for the safe. And if we did, I didn't want to screw around with door 5 again. So I put the plate in the exit door so we could get back in that way. You get it now?
Yeah.
He nodded and looked at the safe. Grabbed the handle and shook it.
Figured it wouldn't open.
It was locked as it had been when 7 found it.
Huh?
There was one change, however.
This is...
Underneath the safe was a pile of fine, reddish-brown powder.
rust.
Junpei stared at it and
If
considered.
there's rust here, that means... Has someone opened the safe?
Gunpei left the closet, then followed him back to the bedroom.
Huh?
Cold and quiet. I'm sorry guys, I gotta be again. Hello? Hello, hello. We are back. No one spoke. They sat, frozen in place by shock, and grief and fatigue. The room felt tiny and oppressive. A thick metallic smell of blood filled the room. They turned and headed for the living room. Anything to get out of there.
Maybe there's another clue. Anything that might lead us to discover who stabbed Clover.
Quickly as they could, they searched around and under the beds, in the corners. His eyes caught on the door. Door that led to the passageway of door number 5.
Behind this door. The ninth man's body is behind there. Maybe I should have another look at it, just in case.
Quietly, he pushed open the door.
Ugh.
Now hit him like a blow to the face.
Oh, the hell? This smell is...
His lungs contracted, unwilling to inhale such fetid air. As it boiled up from the base of his stomach, turning what little food was there into a violent froth. Too much for him, and he vomited. A faint stream of yellow water and bile splattered onto the floor. Wiped his mouth weakly and stared at the dead body. Chunks of torn flesh lay in an arc around the body. The remains of his intestines had fled out onto the floor. The pool of the blood that framed it was half dry, but so thick that it had taken on a texture not unlike that of an egg yolk prepared sunny side up. Holy shit, man. On the floor, next to the broken mess of the man's head, lay his glasses. Cracks spidering across the lenses. The bloodstains near them had already dried, like flat scabs on the floor.
Wait.
That was when he noticed.
It's gone. His bracelet. It's gone. It was right next to the glasses.
Now, it's gone. The number 9 bracelet was gone.
But why?
Someone taken it? He's turning it over and over in his mind when he heard Seven's voice.
Where'd Junpei go?
They're drifting out to him from the living room. Junpei walked slowly out of the hallway.
Oh, there you are. Were you looking for something in the hallway?
Seven looked up as Junpei entered the room.
Yeah.
Did you find something?
But for a moment before he
No,
responded.
nothing.
Technically, it wasn't a lie. He hadn't found anything. In a way, in fact, that was the problem. Something he expected to find hadn't been there. The ninth man's
What's up?
bracelet.
Well, I wanted you to take a look at something.
What is it?
I led Junpei back to the bathroom.
Clover.
When his corpse came to view, he felt his heart flip and fall into the bottom of his stomach. Something between a sigh and a groan escaped his lips.
What was it you wanted to show me?
His voice was hollow and empty.
I searched Clover's body again. A real shame. She was stabbed once in the back, probably by a knife or something. And I found this.
As he spoke, he moved around Clover's head. Knelt down and flipped open her right hand.
What?
She's holding a piece of paper.
I haven't actually looked at it yet. Didn't want to disturb the crime scene, you know? Basic stuff. Well, I did borrow one thing.
What?
Not sure what that meant, but it likely didn't matter. Paper was more
I'm
important.
opening it.
Picked it up, carefully opened it. 2 sentences written on it.
Truth had gone, and truth had gone. Ah, now truth is asleep in the darkness of the sinister hand.
What is this? Some kind of secret code?
Peered over Junpei's shoulder at the note. Junpei stepped away from Clover's body. Into the living room. He began to pace, attempting to decode the note.
A code.
First clue was likely the phrase sinister hand. Sinister hand means Talking about Snake?
Sinister was a term used in heraldry that meant to the left of the bearer of a coat of arms. The left hand. The left hand. What does the left hand mean?
His own left arm. The bracelet on his wrist.
Does the darkness of the sinister hand have something to do with the bracelet?
Examine the bracelet
There's two
closely.
things sticking out on either side of the face. The left and right sides of the face. Left and right. Left and right. Right and left. Truth is gone. Truth gone.
Truth gone. Maybe those two words.
How about switching the sentence around? Gone had truth. Well, that makes even less sense. Clearly, switching the words isn't going to help.
Okay.
What else could gone and truth mean? Truth, of course, means something that is correct, something that's fact. In other words, something that is right. You could then safely assume that gone means left.
Sure.
After all, after someone left, they were gone. But in this case, they clearly refer to their directional homonyms. Then truth equals right, and gone equals left. The left and right of the bracelet. These two things sticking out. So if I...
Okay, well, hold on. Okay, truth is right. It would be right. Truth gone. Okay, right. It would be this, right? And then. What? One after another, 8 numbers flashed on, then off, of the face of Junpei's bracelet.
Wait, did it just...
We check one more time to be sure. 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
Huh? Hey, what are those numbers?
They didn't answer. Wouldn't answer. He had no idea what they were either. Like, he was sure he could get the numbers and the order they came in if he said
1,
it.
4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
Ordering the numbers to himself over and over, they headed toward the bedroom.
1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
He found himself in front of the safe again. Lock was the only device he could think of that required a sequence of numbers such as the ones he just discovered. Besides, someone had opened the safe at least once already. Had Clover climbed to the bedroom to open it? Junpei slowly dialed in the numbers the bracelet had given him.
1 to the right. 4 to the left. And... Oh.
Finished.
Bingo. I knew it was for this.
Small, telltale sound of a lock opening. Grabbed the handle, took a deep breath, and pulled it out.
Oh, is this some sort of note?
Inside was a piece of paper, roughly the same size as the one Clover had been holding.
Let's see.
Junpei picked it up. What it said. Fact 1. The non-binary game was played once before, 9 years ago. Fact 2. Person with the number 2 bracelet attended the game 9 years ago. Okay, Snake. Fact number 3. It was planned by the following 4 people. Cradle Pharmaceutical CEO, Taro Hogan, Cradle Pharmaceuticals Chief of Staff, Nijisaka, Cradle Pharmaceuticals R&D Supervisor, Teriyaki Kubata, Majority Shareholder in Cradle Pharmaceuticals, Keiichi Musashido. Punish them for the innocent lives they sacrificed. It's the only warning they will receive. That innocent souls might be saved. And now state the truth. 0. So Ace, I told you guys, I was always on the Ace. Junpei left the closet. Five people waiting for him in the bedroom. Ace, Lotus, Santa, Seven, and Jim. He looked at each one of them in turn and slowly placed his hands in the pockets of his
Sorry,
vest.
but do you think you could all come with me?
Come with you?
I want all of you to go to the big hospital room.
Why?
There's something I want to be sure of.
What do you want to be sure of?
I want to know if the person I suspect is really the culprit.
Wait, then you're saying...
Yeah, I think I've got it figured out. I know who killed Snake and Clover.
Shit. Atmosphere in the room changed. Ruth was suddenly gone, replaced by attention like a strip of leather stretched to its limits. Puck said the eyes stared at Junpei, pretended not to notice.
Anyway, if you could all please move to the big hospital room. I'll explain everything as soon as we get there.
Then, almost in the on cue, the bell began to ring. They all heard it. It fell from the clock in the main staircase. Bell rang 5 times and ceased.
It's 5 o'clock.
Only got an hour
We don't
left.
have a lot of time left. Let's go.
Slowly, one by one, they followed Junpei out of the bedroom.
Actually, before we get started, I was hoping you could do something for me.
They stopped in front of the door free and turned
Ace, Seven, and Lotus, could you please place your palms on the red?
Huh?
Why? If we need to get to the shower room, why don't we just...
No, we're not going inside. Once you've authenticated, step away from the door.
Why?
Please, just do it. Or perhaps you don't want to know who killed Snake and Clover.
His implication was clear. Seven understood perfectly.
Fine.
What about you, Ace, Lotus?
Very well.
Sure.
Quickly, they pressed their palms into the red. They finished. They stepped away from the door, as Junpei had instructed. 3 asterisks shone from the red's display
I
panel.
have this idea. I don't think this device responds to a hand placed on it. It instead reacts to a bracelet being brought close. You don't actually need a hand. I knew it.
Junpei had expected. It was possible to authenticate without placing one's palm on the red, as long as the bracelet was brought near it. Junpei pulled the lever down. Door free opened with a hungry mouth. 9 long seconds passed. The door shut on the bed. Junpei walked slowly back to the others, who were waiting some distance from the door, talking to one another. And Jun had joined them as well.
Huh?
It looked as though they hadn't found a chance to break into the conversation yet. Junpei approached. They turned to look at him. Curiosity playing on their faces. For long, the other 3 did as well.
What was that about?
How should I know?
Clearly, they were all expecting
Thanks.
answers.
I appreciate your cooperation.
Clearly, they hoped for something more forthcoming.
By the way,
Thank you.
Ace, would you mind if I asked you something?
What is it?
Do you know who I am?
You're goddamn right.
What? What kind of question?
Just answer it, please. Who am I?
You're Junpei, of course. Who else would you be?
Unfortunately, that's the wrong answer. Actually, I'm Santa.
What?
What? It was full of surprise, but it's also tinged with confusion and fear. Everyone else looked nearly as surprised. Santa looked especially shocked when he discovered he was actually someone else. He spoke, however, the trap would be exposed. Junpei quickly continued.
The clothes I'm wearing, I borrowed from Junpei. And the clothes he's wearing are mine. We had a little swap.
That's ridiculous. Impossible.
So, you're saying I'm not Santa?
Of course you aren't.
Why? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa?
If you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now. 1 plus 7 plus 8 plus 3 equals 19. 1 plus 9 would be 10. The digital route would be 1. But the 4 of us just opened door 3. You can't possibly be Santa. Your bracelet number isn't 3.
It's 5, right?
Only then, when it was too late, did Ace realize his mistake. Instead, his jaw glared at Junpei.
You're exactly right. My bracelet number is 5.
As he spoke, Junpei lifted his wrist up to show everyone the bright red 5 on his
Sorry,
wrist.
Ace. I tricked you. Of course, I'm not really Santa. I'm Junpei. Who could possibly think I was? It's obvious I'm not. To think I was? Ridiculous. But I guess you couldn't see just how obvious it was. I asked you before, didn't I? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa? And you answered. If you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now. Most people wouldn't say something like that. The first thing that would come to anyone else's mind wouldn't be the bracelet number. There'd only be one thing they'd say. One sentence. You don't have his face. Ace, you have prosopagnosia. Am I right?
Junpei's voice was quiet and calm. He knew the truth, stated Ace.
Prosopagnosia?
Lotus looked confused.
What's that?
No clue.
Prosopagnosia is.
Heard Lotus begin to explain it to them. He glanced at them and turned back towards Junpei inside.
Very well. I confess. I have prosopagnosia. I cannot differentiate human faces. Is that what this was about? You want to mock me for my disorder?
No, not at all. I'm not making fun of you at all. In fact, I feel kind of bad for you. No, the reason I brought this up is that there's an excellent chance the person who killed Snake has prosopagnosia.
His face tightened, his eyes narrowed.
What do you mean?
Junpei leaned casually against the iron piping of one of the beds.
I'll just come right out with it. I think it was you, Ace. You killed him.
Oh shit. He was suddenly very aware of 5 pairs of eyes on him. They had their undivided attention now. Gone very, very quiet. Junpei took a deep breath.
That's ridiculous. What possible evidence do you...
I have 3 pieces of evidence.
Ah,
The
shit.
first. Think back to a few hours ago. You made us argue over the 3 doors here in the big hospital room. There was no way all 7 people could go through them. Lotus suggested that we sacrifice one of us.
Lotus looked away awkwardly. Junpei glanced at her.
Then you, Ace, said, I'll stay here. Why would you say something like that? It's pretty simple, really. You didn't want us to see the dead body in the shower room. You see? If Ace stayed behind, there were only 2 doors the rest of us could go through. Doors 7 and 8. There was no way we could get through door 3, the shower room. You knew that, didn't you, Ace? That's why you volunteered to stay behind.
Come on now. I think that's going a bit far. I can understand if you're jealous of my bravery, but please don't devalue my actions. I only wanted to save the rest of you. Surely you can understand my altruism.
Altruism, huh?
They stared off into the darkness at something very interesting and lazily began to dig at a persistent bit of wax out of his
You
ear.
already knew, didn't you? You knew that whichever doors we took, eventually we'd end up back in the big hospital room.
What on earth are you saying? Of course I didn't know that. How could I have?
Really?
Yes.
Bleeding was not something they'd heard from Ace before. They pulled a piece of wax from his ear, glanced at it, looked it off into the darkness.
Oh well, that's cool. I've still got 2 more pieces of evidence that say you're the killer. The second is that, as I said earlier, you have prosopagnosia.
Then you mean to imply that a person who can't distinguish human faces must be a bad person? Junpei, they call that prejudice.
No, I am not that stupid.
Then why?
Well, before I explain, I suppose there's something I should tell you. The corpse in the shower room. It's not Snake's.
What?
Ace's face went pale. The others looked confused as well. The body was
I didn't put it together right away, but there was something Clover told me. She said that Snake's left arm was prosthetic, He'd lost his real arm in an accident, but the body we saw in the shower room,
Shit. It's
let's
all
call
coming
him
out.
Guy X. Guy X's left arm was definitely flesh and blood. In other words, Guy X couldn't possibly have been Snake.
Oh God. No. That's impossible.
Ace started muttering deliriously to himself, shaking his head back and forth. Junpei was long past caring.
Let's say, hypothetically, that the killer didn't have prosopagnosia. If that were the case, he would immediately realize that Guy X wasn't Snake. Even if the clothes were the same as Snake's, their faces would be completely different. It would have been obvious they were different people. And yet, they still killed him. Why? Why would they kill a stranger who'd only just shown up? On the other hand, if the killer did have prosopagnosia, it makes sense. They thought Guy X was Snake and killed him.
Wait. Wait just a moment. Let's say you're right. And I mistook Guy X for Snake. Even if I did, I would have had no motive to kill him. Why would I want to kill Snake?
I can think of at least two motives. One, Snake knew about your past. If he ever revealed what he knew, that would have been really bad for you. You really didn't want that to happen. So to make sure Snake's mouth stayed shut, you killed him. Two, Snake had a grudge against you. You knew that. Or at least you could have easily assumed he did. Even without exposing your identity, he was a threat to you. You never knew when you might be attacked. You couldn't ever let your guard down. Every moment was a moment he might try something. You didn't want that kind of danger hanging over you. So you...
Hey, hold on a minute.
It was the first time since the beginning of Junpei's explanation someone besides Ace
What's the
spoke up.
past that Ace wouldn't want us to know? Why did Snake have a grudge against him?
Look at this.
Yeah, and it's Santa a small piece of paper.
What's this piece of paper?
Santa squinted at the paper and began to read.
The nonary game was played once before 9 years ago. The person with the number 2 bracelet attended the game 9 years ago. It was planned by the following 4 people. Cradle Pharmaceuticals CEO Gentaro Hongo. What is this?
Oh, shit. Slowly, Santa looked up from the paper. His eyes met Junpei's.
It's the message from Zero. It was in the safe in the first class cabin.
And suddenly,
Give me a break!
Ace's face was red and shaking, and his voice was full of fury tinged with
That
desperation.
paper is a lie! Someone is trying to frame me!
Me. You said me, right?
His eyes narrowed, and the trap began to close. Ace inhaled sharply. His eyes flicked off of Junpei to anything else.
Wouldn't that mean you're admitting you're Hongo, the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals?
Oh,
Or am
shit.
I mistaken?
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. It was though a switch had been flipped. Color drained from Ace's face, and as he realized what he'd done, eyes went wide.
Very well. I admit that much. I am certainly the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical, Gentaro Hongo. So what if I am? I don't know anything about this nonary game that supposedly took place 9 years ago. Everything on that scrap of paper is bullshit. Someone is trying to set me up, you see? First of all...
Ace stammered as he tried desperately to work himself to a more tenable position.
Junpei, you're claiming I did this all by myself. Think that over, all right? How could I have killed Snake all by myself?
Not Snake. It was Guy X.
I don't care who it was. You said the killer put this other man into door 3, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Then I couldn't have possibly done that alone. I couldn't have opened door 3 with only myself and Guy X.
Nope. You could have.
Oh, yeah,
Huh?
Yep.
What?
Ace's face was tight, and his teeth were clenched. Junpei fixed him with a level stare. The trap was about to close.
Actually, Ace, when you were unconscious, I took something from you. Remember when you were injected with that anesthetic and fell asleep in the big hospital room?
Shit.
Yeah, back then, I took this.
He put his hand into his pocket.
No! You couldn't have!
Ace's right hand moved. They
I
smiled.
got you, Ace. Your right hand there tells me all I needed to know. You want to tell me what you were so worried about? What's in your pocket? It's the number 9 bracelet, isn't it? Ace,
shit.
Guy X, and the 9th man's bracelet. That was all you needed to open door 3. That's how you killed Guy X all by yourself, Ace. All you needed was the number 9 bracelet in your chest pocket.
Ace lowered his hand from where it had stopped, halfway to his pocket. He looked down at the floor, his face hidden from Junpei. All he could see was the corner of Ace's mouth, twitching like a dying fish.
If you want to play innocent, that's fine by me. Go ahead, tell me. I don't have the bracelet, if that's what you want to do. But if you could take off your coat and hand it to me, I'd really appreciate it. Otherwise, we'll have to take it from you by force. Right, Seven?
Yeah, it'd be my pleasure.
Seven cracked his knuckles with a sound like gunfire. Here comes the breakdown. He roared with laughter. He threw his arms wide and his head back and laughed, filling the room with sound that scarcely belonged there. And it stopped. His arms came down, his head dropped to look straight ahead at Junpei. His face was flat and cold, void of any emotion. I think that's a new sprite.
Well done, Junpei. As you so correctly deduced, I have the number 9 bracelet. I retrieved it while we were searching for the missing hardware for the Red. I left the room I was supposed to search and headed to the first-class cabin on B-deck.
His voice showed no emotion, no sense of remorse or interest. He was almost bored. As though he were reciting an especially dull culprit letter.
My purpose was to obtain the number 9 bracelet. 9 is a potent ally in the nonary game. Adding 9 to any set of numbers won't alter the digital root.
It's 9 equals negative.
As you can see, 9 is a very useful number here. With it, one can go anywhere, with anyone. It is, I suppose you could say, a game changer. So I made for the first-class cabin to obtain it. In mere moments, I successfully acquired the number 9 bracelet. There was also an unexpected bonus. The knife the 9th man had used. I quickly pocketed both of them and left. I made my way back to where I was expected to be. That's when I ran into Snake. Well, this guy X, actually. I spotted him ahead
Who the hell is this guy X?
He was heading for the large hospital room and hadn't noticed me. The man wearing Snake's clothes arrived at door 3. When he stopped, I walked up behind him and called out, "Snake." He turned around. He said nothing. His mouth simply hung half open. He seemed dazed somehow, almost like a man half asleep. Perhaps he had been drugged. It wasn't important. I tend to gloss over little things like that. I was certain that man was Snake. I knew Snake had taken part in the nonary game 9 years ago. Being blind, it made sense that he didn't recognize me immediately upon our first meeting. But why then hadn't Snake said anything to me later? Surely he hadn't forgotten what had happened to him in the nonary game. But not once did he attempt to confront me. Did his lack of sight prevent him from fully recognizing who I was? Or perhaps Snake had conspired with Zero to deceive me? Regardless, he was a threat, and it was better to deal with him sooner rather than later. I had to get rid of him before he took action. With quick thinking, my plan went into motion immediately. I held the number 9 bracelet over the Red. I waved my own bracelet in front of the Red, and then grabbed Snake's arm and shoved his hand against the scanner panel. The door opened. I threw the man through it. 9 seconds later, the door shut. "81 seconds passed.
As the door passed away.
After that, I returned to my post as though nothing had happened. After conducting my own search, I returned to the large hospital room when the 1 a.m. bell rang.
His eyes were cold, and his cheeks were hollow and pallid. When he spoke, only his lips and tongue moved. The rest of his face was eerily still. Junpei glared at Ace, took a deep breath, and thought about the next question he had to ask. He didn't want to. He knew what the answer would be. Just didn't want to hear it. Junpei swallowed and spoke.
Ace, did you kill Clover?
Yes.
Why? Why did you kill her?
She was Snake's sister. It was possible he had told her something dangerous. Additionally, she had gone through door 1. It seemed likely she might have found it.
Found what?
Why don't you go through door 1 yourself? Perhaps it's hidden somewhere.
Devin and Lotus interrupted.
Yeah, but Lotus and I went through door 1 too.
We didn't see anything suspicious.
Yes. I thought as much after I heard your report at the central stairs. I doubt the two of you could find it.
Hmm?
Huh?
But perhaps Clover was different. Perhaps she had found it. I was, therefore, desperate to find her. And at last I did, in the first-class cabin. I spoke very calmly. Did you see it?
See what?
Don't act as if you don't understand. You were in the captain's quarters, weren't you?
Huh? What are you talking about?
Very well. By the way, what are you doing here, Clover?
What? Nothing.
There's blood on your shoes. It looks fresh. Did you go take a look at the ninth man's corpse? I see. Your silence suggests that you noticed. You saw something, didn't you? You saw that his bracelet was gone.
No!
Clover ran, made for the exit, but Ace stood in her way.
You aren't going anywhere.
Caught her by the collar as she passed, threw her to the floor hard.
You're staying here.
No!
She leapt back. She leapt back up and darted past him into the hallway. Ace followed at a run.
Don't you run, little girl.
Shit. He was faster.
That was how I killed Clover.
You suck. His face hadn't changed. If he felt guilt or remorse or anything one might feel after taking the life of another being, didn't show.
You son of a bitch!
His whole body trembled with rage, and his voice rumbled with hate. Santa's eyes were bloodthirsty, and Lotus and June's faces were distorted by anger and hatred. Ace looked at them and smiled, with a cold, cruel fang, with no humor in it. He shook his head and sighed.
I admit it. I've lost. I have lost. Completely and utterly. Don't misunderstand, Junpei. I didn't lose to you. I lost to Zero, not you. I'm rather disgusted with myself for falling into such a simple trap. I looked the fool. And it was a trap, make no mistake. I was trapped and manipulated by Zero. The man I killed in the shower room, if he wasn't Snake, then I have no idea who he was. But he was wearing Snake's clothes, and that was no coincidence. He had also been injected with something that reduced his cognition and prevented him from identifying himself or resisting me. And we can't forget the components that were removed from the Red before we arrived. I have no doubt that Zero planned all of this. Zero made sure I would kill that man. It follows, of course, that Zero knew everything I would do. That I would try to take the number 9 bracelet. That I would try to kill Snake. Everything.
Suddenly, Junpei remembered the paper he found in the safe. Remember the last words Zero had written on it. He must punish them for the innocent lives they sacrificed. the only warning they will receive. That innocent souls might be saved. I now state the truth. Zero. He remembered other words. Words either.
I think Zero is one of us.
Huh?
But Junpei looks at the 5 people standing in front of him. Peace. Santa. Seven. Lotus.
Zero is one of us? No. Wait, there's one more person. Snake. The man who died in the shower room isn't Snake. That means he's almost certainly still alive. Maybe Snake is Zero.
That'd be a fucking twist.
Maybe he made Guy X wear his clothes so that we'd all think he was dead. Where's Snake now? What if he's off somewhere laughing at us? If he is Zero, he must have been lying to us about everything else. Is he watching us?
Well, I believe I've finished with my confession. Why don't we get moving?
As if he just finished doing nothing more exciting than describing the weather. Santa was the last straw.
What the hell is this shit? You aren't going anywhere, you son of a bitch! We're gonna leave your ass here to rot!
Why? Because I killed Clover? That's ridiculous. Why are you so upset that I killed the little bitch?
Ooh.
She was nothing to you. A stranger you only met a few hours ago. Am I wrong? You bastard!
Seven roared, lifted a fist that would likely have shattered Ace's jaw. Someone else was faster. It was Lotus. He stepped toward Ace, raised a fist of her own. Drove it straight into his nose.
Blindsiding me with a punch, huh? You've got some fire, don't you? I confess, I rather like a tough woman.
Ugh. He sniffed and wiped a small trickle of blood from his nose with a raised eyebrow.
Well, maybe you'd like another one then.
Before that, let me give you one of my own.
Huh?
Lotus scarcely had time to blink. He connected his arms around her and pulled Lotus back up against him. In the same motion, he reached in his coat pocket. It was a gun. A revolver. Lazily, he tilted it to point at Lotus' head.
If any of you so much as blink, I won't hesitate to pull this trigger. I've already killed 3 people. Don't think I'm not ready to make it 4.
3 people? What do you mean?
Very well. Let me take this opportunity to illuminate you. The person who killed the 9th man was me.
Oh, shit.
Although I suppose to be more accurate, I encouraged him to get himself killed. While we were examining the main staircase, he came to me and told me his name. I recognized it at once, so I gave him a little push. Just a little white lie.
Holy shit.
It seems the settings for the dead were altered. Now it only requires a single person to deactivate the detonator in the bracelet. Investigate what's beyond door 5. We'll meet again later. And with that...
Okay. Have a good one, guys. I'm going off ahead now. Well then. Why is it stopping? God damn it! You lied! Open the door, please! I'm begging you! Help me! Please get me out of here! Get me out of here! Oh my god, oh my god! There's no time left! Listen! I was lied to! He lied to me! He put me in here! It was him! He killed me! It was him! Ah!
Holy shit.
I had 4 reasons for killing him. As I said before, in the nonary game, the number 9 bracelet is of utmost importance. If I had allowed him to keep such a useful tool, he, or it, would have become a threat to me. As such, I decided that he should be eliminated early on. I wanted the number 9 bracelet. If I could manage to obtain it, I would be able to manipulate the game as I saw fit. I would be unable to acquire the bracelet unless its owner was dead. That's the second reason. Even setting aside his number, he would have been nothing but trouble for me. He was aware of my past. He knew what happened here 9 years ago. It was important that I eliminate him before he was able to disseminate this information. Lastly, I wished to conduct a simple test. A test to see if this nonary game was serious, or a poor attempt at a joke. I needed to be quite sure. As such, I encouraged him to act against the rules so that I might observe the outcome.
I don't get your third motive. What the hell happened 9 years ago?
Didn't I say? The nonary game was played. I planned it out, and I conducted its execution.
Why? What on earth was it supposed to do?
I don't really think I have any obligation to tell you that.
He's smart. He's trying to provoke them. Although Ace had paid very little attention to Lotus after catching her, the gun had never wavered from her temple. She looked quite pale. When she spoke, her voice shook.
Hey, what's with this gun? Where did he get this?
Why don't you tell her, Santa?
Santa ground his teeth and glared at Ace.
On the other side of door 6, we found the gun in the coffin in the cargo room, right? The bastard must have grabbed it when we weren't looking.
Indeed I did. That was a pretty serious mistake, you know. Just saying you intended to leave it behind.
He laughed. A short, derisive snort. Gave Junpei a stickingly pitying look.
Well, there isn't much time left. I'll be off then.
Well, where are you going?
Do I really need to explain? I had assumed it would be obvious. I have the number 9 bracelet, and now I have Lotus.
Wasn't there a door with a 9 on it in the room that looked like a church? That's where you're going, isn't it?
And how do you know that?
Santa told me about it while we were looking for Clover.
I see. Well, you are correct. That is my destination. But now I must say goodbye to all of you. Ah, and please, don't forget my warning. Move and I'll pull the trigger. I don't need her alive to open the door, you know.
He spoke. He began backing toward the door, practically dragging Lotus behind him.
Shit! He's getting away!
But we can't risk it.
Junpei, Santa, June, and Seven stood and frozen. He had the face of a man gone mad, and no doubt he would pull the trigger. He said, reach the exit.
Now, Lotus, open the door for me if you would.
Forced Lotus to open it, and turn and address them once more.
Goodbye.
Then he stepped through the door. Fell shut. In the blink of an eye, they were gone.
Damn it!
As Ace and Lotus were gone, Junpei and the others leapt for the door in pursuit of Ace. But as Junpei laid his hand on the doorknob, some noise behind him, he looked over his shoulder. June was kneeling on the floor, breathing heavily.
Hey, June, what happened? Are you alright?
Santa ran to June and wrapped his arm around her. She collapsed all the way.
Jesus, you're burning up. Your fever's back. Are you okay?
June's fever had returned, again for no apparent reason. Her eyes were watery, and her eyelids drooped. Her breath came in dry, shallow gasps.
I'm okay. Really, I'm fine. You should be worrying about Lotus.
She was breathing hard now. She could barely summon the strength to talk.
But...
It was torn. Couldn't leave June alone in the state she was in. But every moment they waited, Ace was farther away. Lotus' life in his hands. What was Junpei supposed to do? June's eyes drifted to Junpei's. She managed to muster a weak smile.
Jumpy, don't worry about me. I just need a little rest. I'll be fine.
How much time do we have?
You remember? I just needed to rest a little bit last time. So please, please save Lotus.
Think about what Ace has already done, Junpei. When he's got what he needs from Lotus, you really think he's just gonna let her walk away?
Damn it.
You guys go on ahead. Soon as June starts feeling better, we'll follow you. Go!
did June. She nodded once. She couldn't manage much more. It was all the confirmation Junpei needed. It was all
All right, come on, Seven. We're going after Ace.
Hell yeah!
Santa, you take good care of June. I'm trusting you. Got it.
Nodded. Junpei turned before he had a chance to change his mind. Started running toward the door. You could hear Seven's heavy footsteps behind him.
Let's go!
Junpei and Seven exploded into the hallway, with feet pounding the metal floor as they were. Game 7 had finally arrived at the church, Doc was out of breath. As their lungs struggled to catch their breath, their eyes frantically scanned the room.
Where are they?
I don't see them.
You think they already went through?
He reached up to wipe a palm full of sweat from his brow.
Maybe.
Even as he spoke, Junpei was already on his way to a large number of 9 doors. The larger of the number 9 doors.
Let's check the red.
Big panel red, vacant. Spun around and headed towards the smaller door. Red were telling Ace and Lotus had moved to another room.
Engaged. It's occupied.
That means Ace and Lotus went through here.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Junpei and Seven stepped away from the door. Retreated to the center of the room, began to talk.
What do we do now?
Yeah, what should we do? Well, the big door is still vacant, but...
The two of us can't do anything with it.
Yeah, not even counting how our digital route isn't 9.
The sniffed as they were pondering what to do next. There was a noise. It was like someone hitting a thick wooden panel.
What's that sound?
Junpei looked up, surprised. Seven followed suit, his eyes jumping around the room, looking for the source of the sound.
It's coming from over there.
Not long before they found the altar. Or more precisely, what was on it.
The coffin.
Yeah.
Let's open it.
How?
By force!
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, you never know till you try, right? The only necessity for success is the willingness to suffer 1,000 failures.
Who said that?
I forget. Anyway, we've got to try.
Junpei and Seven leapt at the coffin, grabbed hold of what purchase they could find, and pulled.
Damn it!
See? Didn't I tell you? If you could just pull it open, why would it have something like that?
And point out a keypad on the side of
Right.
the coffin.
So unless I put in the right passcode, it's not gonna open.
The noise hadn't stopped. In fact, as it continued, it only got louder and more forceful. What are they supposed to do?
Was there some sort of clue somewhere?
They stood there for a few moments staring at the coffin, then Seven spoke.
Hey, Junpei. I remember you mumbling about some weird numbers over by the bathroom in the first-class cabin. You got those numbers by solving the secret message Clover was holding, right? Truth had gone, or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. What about it?
Well, maybe that number's the passcode for this thing, too.
Come on, that's impossible. Those numbers were the code to unlock that safe.
Yeah, but the person who set up that safe in this coffin is the same person, right? Zero set up both of these.
Yeah, probably.
Well, then they might have set the same passcode for both of them.
That's ridiculous.
Why don't you just try it? I mean, it's not like you'll make things any worse.
It'd just be a waste of time. There's no way they're the same number.
How do you know that? You never know until you try. The only necessity for success is the willingness to suffer 1,000 failures.
Who said that?
You.
Fine.
He knelt down in front of the keypad and looked at it. Perhaps because he repeated it so many times before the numbers came easily to Junpei's mind.
1438 3421.
Quickly, he typed them in. He checked that he'd entered the right numbers, took a deep breath, and pressed the E button. Only took a moment.
What?
Oh shit!
You gotta be kidding me.
There was a click. With a heavy clunk, the lid of the coffin slid off onto the floor. Someone sat up from inside. Yep, there he
Snake!
is. Knew it.
You? Why?
Ah, those voices. Junpei and Seven, unless I'm mistaken. Where are the others? Are they elsewhere?
He had to tell him something, however. So they began to talk. Nick explained to them how he came to be locked in the coffin, apparently. He'd been hit with some sort of knockout gas, and Junpei and Seven explained what had happened to the rest of them.
I see. I believe I got the gist of everything. Have I been sufficiently caught up?
There's one thing they kept from him. One thing, however, that neither Seven nor Junpei could bring themselves to say. That Ace had killed Clover. They feared that if Snake knew, he might well go insane. He decided as much by a look the moment Snake had climbed out of the coffin.
But that still doesn't explain why you were trapped in here.
We've still got no clue about Zero's true identity, let alone why the hell he's doing all this. Why did he put Guy X in Snake's clothes? Is all this stuff somehow related to that notary game that was played 9 years ago?
Hey, Snake, do you know anything?
They put the question to Snake. The answer was less than illuminating.
What are you talking about? I apologize, but I have no idea what you're saying.
Seemed as though Snake was, perhaps, not being entirely honest, but that knowledge of Junpei and Seven little
Oh,
good.
come on, just tell us if you know.
I don't know what to tell you. How can I know something I don't?
No matter how many times they asked, he insisted that he knew nothing. Becoming clear that Snake wouldn't give in, and every second they spent asking him was a second wasted.
This is bad. We're running out of time.
Yeah, how much time do we have?
We need to go after Ace.
However, stood in silence, the overpowering atmosphere of the chapel almost stifling. Junpei, Seven, and Snake simply stood at a loss for what they should do next.
What do we do now?
As over at Snake's wrist, sure enough, he could see the 2 on the bracelet on Snake's wrist.
The three of us can't make a digital route of 9.
Yeah, we just get 5.
We're stuck here then.
Oh. Hey, I just remembered something.
Seven began patting his pockets as if he were checking to see if any of them held anything.
What? What is it?
I found something earlier.
What did you find?
This.
Finally found the pocket he'd wanted. His hand dove into it. Don pulled out something round and metal. Bracelet. There was no mistaking the number glowing at them from the face like a cartoon
Zero.
eye.
Zero's bracelet.
What did you say? Are you saying that 7 has the number 0 bracelet?
Yeah.
Where did you get that?
Snake's question was innocent enough, but if he learned the truth, you've been able to see, you would have noticed Seven look away.
Clover gave it to me.
She did?
Yeah.
How did she come by it?
Well, she found it on the other side of door 1, A deck, in the captain's quarters. She asked me to hold on to it because it was too big and bulky for her to be lugging around.
He's lying.
You could tell right away that Seven wasn't telling the truth.
He even told us earlier.
I haven't actually looked at it yet. Didn't want to disturb the crime scene, you know? Basic stuff. Well, I did borrow one thing.
He probably said that so Snake doesn't find out about Clover.
All right, Junpei. Nice knowing you.
Wait, what?
Come on, man, I'm just kidding. Still, just in case, I want to make sure the Zero bracelet gets picked up by the Red. Snake, give me a hand, alright?
Still waiting for a response. Started walking toward the door. Junpei and Snake followed him quietly. For long, they found themselves in front of the larger of the two doors. Skylight and Snake put their palms on the Red. They've done that, so put their number 0 placed on the scanner panel as well. Third Ash just appeared on the screen. Just now. We just needed to pull the lever. The door would open.
Why isn't it opening?
Well, the third asterisk lit up, so it must have registered the Zero bracelet.
Maybe it isn't actually 0.
Huh?